What's good, Buff Nation? So, Big 12 Media Days have ended, and Shedeur Sanders decided to say the quiet part out loud, especially talking about some of the hate that they get and why other teams play so hard or think about Colorado so much. Kind of a fascinating statement, and I'm going to tell you why I think that is true, what he said. We're going to also dive into how the media freaked out about this statement. Thought it was wild to me because it really wasn't that big of a deal. We've got other few things to dive into as the Big 12 Media Days just concluded in Las Vegas. And, Coach Prime and the effect of them going into the Big 12. It's official. Everybody had big questions. Coach Prime had great answers. He also got some praise from an SEC coach, something that seems to be expected, right? And we'll wrap things up after we talk about that love and what Coach Prime had to say about if you want to come play at Colorado, what you should expect. So make sure y'all stick around for that close to the end. So let's dive into all of that here on the prime time for college football. First story here we have is Shedeur Sanders talking to reporters at the Big 12 Media Days. Did a really good job. He's pretty, candid in some things. He broke down kind of his excitement, discussed how he isn't complete. He's got a lot of work, and he feels like if he doesn't have a lot of work, then he ain't working hard enough, right? He feels like he won't be a complete product for a while, and that's how he thinks that all greats feel, right? That you're always trying to fill up that bucket and fill yourself up on a regular basis. And so Shedeur talked about that, and one guy was talking to him about the opponents and everything and hate, and thought it was fascinating. He kind of gave us an answer that, I'm going to be honest, wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised, but I wasn't expecting it. And man, did the blowback go crazy. I'm going to play it for you. Here it is.
In terms of him operating with a certain obligation, does that sort of flow over to you as his son and being in the spotlight, as you just answered, that it's a different level in how you feel you have to perform? Do you have an obligation to perform at a different level?
It's been that since day one. I remember first media day when I was in HBCU, I said, well, we won't lose a game. I'm undefeated in the SWAC, so I already know what the expectation comes with. I know we're everybody's Super Bowl, so I'm really just I always stay level-headed, stay grounded, because I would never want to be that guy, look back, and not being able to take advantage of the moment that we have right now.
It's fascinating, right? He says that they are everyone's Super Bowl. Yeah, and boy, did the media and fans on social media lose their mind. And honestly, do y'all think Shedeur is wrong? Right, I get that Colorado went 4-8 last year. I get that a lot of people weren't fond of, I guess, the flashiness of them. Shedeur's signature celebration of flashing the watch is now in the new NCAA game. So should we fault Colorado for taking advantage of the fact that the media was really excited about the fact that Coach Prime came in, won his first 3 games at the D1 level when nobody else wanted to give him a chance, and show that he truly believes that they're building something special? I don't think they're wrong for that, and I thought that was ridiculous. I've talked about this on even other shows with friends, and the one thing I don't understand is, I get why people may not like Prime and them, but I don't understand why you would hate them. They're literally just talking whenever people ask them questions. You don't see them doing anything on their own, abruptly going after people. Coach Prime don't even talk down about his opponents, right? He walks in, when he's talking about opposing coaches, he gives you your standard cliche coach talk. And he talks them up, how tough they are, and how darn good they are. Heck, he was talking about how darn good their first opponent of the season is going to be in North Dakota State. And he's like, yeah, man, why do we have to play them first, man? I would love to have had something a little bit easier, but no matter who they played, he would not have stated that they were a tough team, easy team. He would have said everybody's tough. He would have said they're a good program, ran by a good coach. He gives you the standard stuff that a coach would give from back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? And through the 90s. He's not going to give you a lot of clickbait stuff to go crazy on. Now, he may tweet some stuff where you'd be like, hey, man, you look crazy there, but he ain't giving you nothing else. And so I think it's super fascinating that everybody is losing their minds on the fact that Shedeur said, really the quiet part out loud, that the Buffs are a lot of teams' Super Bowl. And yeah, people pointed out 8 teams won the Super Bowl against Colorado. Sure, you can go ahead and say that all you want. But the thing you got to recognize too and acknowledge is that Teams wanted to beat them. And it was all because all the media attention they got. And they got all that media attention because, dude, their head coach is Coach Prime. Deion Sanders, arguably one of the greatest cornerbacks in NFL history. You can put him on a list easily. I mean, he's won Defensive Player of the Year before, right? As a DB. Obviously, he's really good. So we're more so enamored by the fact that a college great at his age, as young as he is really making waves in college football. We would have never expected it. Remember, his first head coaching job was at Jackson State. Nobody else was. He didn't even go and be an assistant really anywhere except for at the high school rank. He was a coordinator, but he's never been a assistant in the collegiate ranks. He wasn't a position coach. He took the most unorthodox route by going to a program that'll give him a chance. And so, to me, this is why I think it's wild that everybody's losing their minds on it, man. Y'all got to understand that what Prime and them is doing, man, they're doing something different. They're just out there balling. And Shedeur is a really good quarterback, right? NFL analysts are ranking him in the top 5 quarterbacks getting drafted. They expect him to be a first-round pick. Same thing with Travis Hunter. Can't be mad at them for accepting the fact that they're that good. So that's kind of what kind of got wild to me, that Shedeur is getting a lot of hate from it. But, it's kind of expected on that. But we got to talk about some love that Coach Prime got, right? So the question was asked on 3 not too long ago, and it posted up who's the portal king, right? You asked the question, who's the portal king? And of course, you got your usuals. You got Coach Prime, you got Lane Kiffin, right? And Coach Prime basically answered that, Coach Prime, he gives his respect to everybody else, didn't really say anything, but Lane Kiffin weighed in. And Lane Kiffin had something to say. Lane Kiffin had to jump in. He said Coach Prime, right? So you got, like I said, the usual suspects, Coach Prime, Lane Kiffin, as well as Dan Lanning. All the ones that have been killing it. And then, of course, other was in there. And Lane Kiffin tossed it right at him and said it's Prime. And I get it. Prime has the most transfers in and out. He's constantly shuffling and trying to find the right pieces to work for this team. And that's kind of how it is. So it was interesting to see that the good old Lane train had to acknowledge Coach Prime, show him some love. And, of course, we pause here to give our condolences to Lane Kiffin and the family, as his father, Monty Kiffin, the architect of the Tampa 2 defense with the Buccaneers and one of the best defensive minds in history, passed away. And so, yeah, our condolences and prayers to him and the family. And, Prime had to acknowledge that as well, showed some love like he always do, right? That's just what Prime does. And so the last thing we're going to dive into, of course, is Coach Prime had a statement for anybody that has interest in coming to Colorado. We talked about rankings, talked about players, getting, recognized and everything. And he had to say really this, which is kind of simple, but at the same time, super true. This is what he said. To whom it may concerns, if you desire to come play for us, Colorado Buffs, they may drop your high school ranking just because. I have a friend named Lulu from Fort Myers. They did that 2 years ago, and they're still doing it now. Fortunately, we don't care about rankings. Hashtag Coach Prime with the smiley faces. And Coach Prime is kind of basically saying that he has been noticing that whenever a player decides to come here, their rankings kind of drop. The love goes away. I don't know how true it is. I haven't been able to truly confirm, kind of search some sites and see if anybody else has written down a list of them. I haven't seen it, but that doesn't mean it ain't true. But it's wild that he put the allegation out there, and it's wild that he truly feels that he's seen it. If he's seen it himself, I'm not going to say that he's wrong. I just haven't seen it. And so we just got to do some investigating and dig and see if it's there. If so, we'll definitely drop you some videos on that and show all the players that dropped because they decided to pick Colorado. Luckily, he's gotten some 5 stars, and they say 5-star status when he got there, so that's all that matters. All right, thank y'all for pulling up here on the Prime Time for College Football. Got another video for you all that you should definitely, check out. We dove into, the initial things from Big 12 Media Day, so make sure y'all check all of that out. And make sure check it out here and subscribe. Talk soon.